I guess we'll go and move on to talking about a little bit of TJ and his
Yeah.
defensive player of the year. So his biggest competition is Myles Garrett, who seems to be the favorite.
Yeah.
I could also put Micah Parsons up here. He's actually considered the second favorite by Vegas right now, but TJ's third on that list. So I figured we just go. Oh, actually, I should apologize to Myles Garrett because I spelled his name wrong. It's Myles. So sorry,
If you're
Miles, if you catch this.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
watch it,
I
sorry.
apologize.
We
I just
apologize.
caught that as I was sitting here.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
all
I
right.
can change it here. But we have TJ against Miles up on the board here. These are the counting stats. And if you look at these counting stats, it's TJ all the way. And it's especially if you remember that TJ goes in coverage a lot more than Myles Garrett does. Miles is pretty much strictly a pass rusher. TJ has a lot more responsibilities, and his numbers across the board are better. The only thing he's trailing in is tackles for losses. But what are you thinking between these two? Just this is the first. Just look at the stats. We'll talk about the stats first, and then go from there.
Yeah, I mean the stats are just impressive. I mean he's all over the field. He's doing everything, and even at times when he's double blocked, he's still finding a way to make a play. Get an interception. Forced fumble, a sack, tackles for loss, things like that. Deflecting the pass. That's thrown. I mean, he's all over the field. I mean, and yeah, the stats show it right there. And the fact that he's only down one tackle for loss behind Myles Garrett. I mean, how can you say that TJ Watt's the third best defensive player with stats like that right now?
Yeah, it's crazy that it seems almost like a foregone conclusion already that Garrett's going to win this award.
Yeah.
If you talk to people and listen to what everyone's saying around the league, because I mean, the biggest thing is that everyone seems to think that Miles he's making a big impact on the game, and this is the PFF grades, like the Pro Football Focus grades on the two guys. They're pretty much even, but the edge does goes to Garrett on these grades here. As you can look there, overall, the defense is like an overall grade for them. Garrett's at a 93.6, TJ's at 91.5. You can look at the rest there. Anything on here jumps out to you?
I'm just kind of shocked at like his tackle is graded at 56.1.
Yeah, I probably should have went. I probably should have went and seen exactly how they grade out the tackle grades. I didn't. That's lazy on my part. But yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm guessing it's like compared to like. I'm guessing better grades would be like an elite middle linebacker. Maybe they'll have some better grades, or a safety or something. Will have some stronger grades. That is I should have looked into that better. I'll take blame for that. But I do think we should be looking at the pass rush and the the overall grade and then the coverage are things that I look at. The pass rush they give Garrett as a higher grade even without the actual stats, the counting stats. They think that he's just winning on more attempts than TJ Watt is, and that's why he's given a higher grade. Which I mean, sure. The way that PFF works is that they have guys that are watching each play and they're deciding on each play whether or not like a player's winning or whatever you want to call it, getting a pressure and all that. So I don't want to take away from the fact they're watching a lot of film, they're watching a lot of stuff, and they've come out that Garrett is better. But I mean, if he's so much better, why are the counting stats so much in TJ Watt's favor? And you have to give it in the fact that TJ's not – the percentage of plays that TJ is rushing is less than Myles Garrett's. So that does confuse me a little bit.
Yeah, that's what's strange to me too, because it's like you would think if somebody's higher graded, they'd be doing more on the field,
So one of the reasonings I've heard – one of the reasons I've heard is that they think that Garrett sees more double teams and stuff like that. It's one of the things. I don't know where you were going to go at next, but that is one of the things they argue.
Okay, well then I guess that's I guess they're the ones that get paid to make the grade, so I guess they see what's going on. So that's That's what it is, I guess.
Yeah. And then one final thing, and I think this does sway towards Garrett a little bit more. Other than the one on top I'm about to show you is the team stats. Steelers defense still points per game allowed is only 19.6
Oh, yeah.
compared to the Browns. It's 20.7. So the Steelers have given up fewer points, but other than that, the stats for the Browns defense are much better statistically than the Steelers. So I could see someone saying that this is due to Garrett's impact on the defense.
Yeah.
He maybe he's not getting those sacks, but he's leading to other players making plays. He's leading to incompletions where a quarterback's throwing the ball faster than he needs to, or faster than he would want to, because Garrett's in there rushing him. That's something I can see people arguing too. But if you look at these other than, well, points per game is probably the most important stats. Everything else is definitely on the Browns defense side here.
Oh yeah, for sure. From what I'm seeing right now, yeah, for sure.
And it's not even like you can argue the Steelers have had leads and stuff like that, because the offense hasn't been scoring. So
yeah, for
there's
sure.
yards and
That's
stuff.
the other thing.
So yeah,
there's it's crazy to see these stats like that. Even I thought that they said last week in that game that the Steelers have more takeaways than the Brown or in the league right now, but I guess by this per game, I guess
they got them. The Browns have the Steelers by a little bit here. If you multiply that out, it's what is that?
Oh,
like
okay,
an extra 2 takeaways maybe. Yeah, it'd be about two.
Pretty much, yeah, almost a game. Yeah.
So, yeah,
yeah.
The way I see it here is the way, if we're looking at this, I guess the idea is that the impact that Garrett makes on the defense and on the offense is more valuable than what TJ has done this year. I guess that's what people are going with. I don't know if they're going with the fact that the Browns have a better record, but what's your hypothesis on why it seems like a slam dunk that Miles Garrett's going to win the award?
I'm kind of thinking they just didn't want to give it to TJ again. I think they're like, okay, we see how much of an impact he is on the field. Maybe we should give it to somebody else who's doing as well this year. And Micah Parsons and Miles Garrett have been phenomenal players as well on the defense this year and for their teams. And I can't knock them for saying that they shouldn't be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. But I mean, us as Steelers fans, we don't watch the Cowboys and Browns religiously, but us as Steelers fans see what TJ has done and brought to this defense. I mean, he's been the guy on the whole team, on the whole defense doing anything. I mean, could you say that for what's his name? Now Micah Parsons, could you say that he'd be doing the same thing if Bland wasn't getting all the interceptions and the Cowboys defense wasn't doing well? Could you say that Myles Garrett was the guy for the Browns defense when the Browns defense has been one of the top leading defenses in the league? Is it him? Look at what TJ's been doing for the Steelers, and the Steelers are on the field, all game under 20 points a game. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of it seems like there's just a lot of nitpicking with a lot of the stats and how these people that are paid to do this pick what they want to see from players on the field. I still think TJ's the guy, and but we'll see what happens this final week. Maybe he comes out and gets 6 sacks against the Ravens.
Yeah, because I haven't seen it's official or not. You have to think Joe Flacco is not starting. You would assume that Garrett's probably not going to play either. The Browns aren't playing for anything really, so it's probably the end of the season for Garrett, and TJ's playing in a big game. So you're right. If he comes out and gets 3 sacks, maybe that's enough to sway some voters. But maybe it is. Maybe it's tough to switch a narrative, and maybe that's just how it was, where people decided at some point this season that this is going to be Garrett's year, and then he stopped getting sacks. He hasn't gotten many sacks at all in the last few games, but it already got to the point where people were saying that he's the difference maker, and the Browns are winning still. So I think that's just what happens sometimes. People just get on there. And then the other thing they talk about is the system the Steelers run makes it so easy for TJ, which is a little crazy to think about when you just see how much he's doing on the field, what all he has to do. You see him, his helmet's getting ripped off on
Yeah.
plays, and he's still going around and getting sacks and stuff
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
It's a little easier to say how easy it is than to actually go out and do what he's doing, I think.
For sure. I mean, let me ask you, you think who do you think should be defensive player of the year out of those three?
Yeah. I would go with TJ. Here's my thought on all. The stats that they're looking at for Garrett that he's good at, I think those are more about predicting the future or suggesting who is the better player. I don't think it's showing who's had the better season. TJ Watt's had the better season. He has more sacks. He has more hurries. He has one less tackle for loss. He has an interception that Garrett doesn't have. I think it should be about who had the better season, not who you think is the best player. I think there's a difference there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah. So when you think of most valuable player, you think of the person that's bringing the most value to their team. Who has had the better season to bring their team and make more valuable plays and be a more valuable player to that team? I mean, the Browns have had a good season this year. The Cowboys have had a good season this year. The Steelers haven't. Yet TJ has been bringing so much value to the defense that I feel as though he's had the better season than those other two players for Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett. I mean, yes, they're great players as well. But the Cowboys look at where they're at seated in the playoffs right now. Look at where the Browns are seated in the playoffs this year. They've had better seasons with better teams. The Steelers haven't had a great team this year. TJ Watt has been more valuable to the Steelers than I think Myles Garrett has been for the Browns or Micah Parsons has been for the Cowboys.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I'm with you. I just think that TJ has been the best player on defense this year, and that's why he should be the defensive player of the year. I almost said most valuable player, but MVP is a whole other discussion where I'm a little confused why it has to be a quarterback these days, but that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.